Yo, Original OC here with you on the Original OC channel. It is Monday, the 15th of September, 2025, a day that will live in infamy. Wow, as first reported here on this channel, and we were the first YouTube channel, first on social media to bring you the news, the exclusive news, and the first with the actual leaked price list. Our sources were correct, and today, Patek Philippe implemented price increases for the United States territory, and we have the entire website pulled up, and we've been engaged in a focus group all day long. We've been doing research all day long with the reaction from collectors, and it's time to open it up to the global watch community to get your reaction. Is it time to double down on the Patek Philippe journey, or to cut bait and cut your journey off at the pass? We'll be discussing everything about these Patek Philippe price increases. Price increases, soup to nuts, here on the OC channel. A few quick administrative things. First of all, like the live stream. Thumbs up on the live stream. If you're watching this on the replay or watching it now, I'm not sure if you can do it now, but if you're watching on the replay, hype the stream, hype the show. There's a button called hype. You can press the hype button, and actually it's part of a special YouTube Partners program in which I'm participating, where certain videos can be hyped. That's a free feature that's available to you guys. Make sure your notifications are enabled. If you're in the chat, that means you're a subscriber already, because this is a subscriber-only chat. That's right. Subscription has its rewards, and very much appreciate all the subscribers. Let's see who we have in the chat. We're going to be getting live reaction from everybody. Everybody's opinion matters here. We'll be going through specific references. If you have a reference you want me to pull up, we'll pull it up on the website. The website, patek.com, is updated with the new US prices. And listen, I'm going to give you my commentary on this whole thing. It may differ from yours. I'm Team Terry. I am Team Terry. And I'm assuming that some of you guys are not Team Terry. Some of you guys are unhappy. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of what has transpired here. Again, you're going to get the best analysis and the best content if somebody jumps on the panel. But if it's just me, you'll probably get really, really poor quality opinions and poor quality content. But hey, I can't control that. I can't control it. Let's see who we have. We got Vimal, who's a member of the channel, first to comment in the chat. Can't bail on a journey you didn't start. And that's attributed to Sun Tzu, which who owns who I think is the founder of P.F. Chang's. Sun Tzu, a very well-respected entrepreneur. P.F. Chang's, one of the most delicious chains in the business. I love PF Chang's. So listen, shout out to Sun Tzu and the team at PF Chang's. Can't bail on a journey you didn't start. Thank you for that wisdom. I love that wisdom. Thank you, Vimal, for being a member. Earls with a slight twist on that. Can't start a journey you can't afford. And he attributes that to Earls. It is, listen, make no mistake, the Patek Philippe journey has become more expensive starting today. It's been, if you're in the United States, it's become way more expensive. We're going to go through the price increases reference by reference. And some of you may be experiencing sticker shock. Make sure you have your phone ready to call 911. Make sure you have your aspirin, your heart medication, all that stuff handy, because you might go into cardiac arrest when you learn what the new prices is on some of these pieces. The new prices are sky high, but you know what? Prices are relative. Who's to say they won't be considered cheap in the future? Got Air King Ben in the chat. Air King Ben is a member. First to upvote the live stream. Guys, let's upvote the live stream. Let's get to 15 likes. I'd like to see 15 likes. For those of you who are watching, hit the tap on the thumbs up button, or if you're on the computer, use your clickety-clackety mouse. Hey, middle class guy. Constant Chang is in the chat. What's up, middle class guy? Journey over before it started. Patek is not for the middle class. Yeah, you know what? Patek is doubling down on their ultra premium position in the Swiss luxury timepiece market. And they don't think that their business is going to be negatively affected. They are doubling down. In the words of Terry Stern, well, I don't know what his words are, but if I could channel Terry Stern, he'd probably say something like, hey, if you're complaining about the price of Patek Philippe, you probably aren't a fan of ours, and you probably don't any of our watches, and you probably weren't going to buy any of our watches anyway. So you're a hater. Yeah, the people who are complaining the most about these Patek Philippe price increases are not Patek Philippe customers. They're the people who wish they could be customers. And they had plenty of chances to buy watches in the past, and they didn't. So why should their opinion matter? Why should we care what they say? MD Chaz, member of the OC channel, thank you for your membership. Very much appreciated. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. I don't think that's an actual quote from Terry Stern, but it may apply. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Thank you for that. Earls again. Look at this, guys. If you want to type in quotes in the chat, we may have a contest, like the best quote of the night. So yeah, enter in your quotes. Earl says, you never actually own a Patek Philippe. You merely pass the credit card balance to the next generation. I have a feeling these quotes are going to get more and more clever as the afternoon goes on. By the way, OC coming to you live from OC Patio. What's up? It's a beautiful sunny day. Hope everyone's doing well. Johnny O in the chat. Johnny O is a member. Says, good afternoon, middle class guy. Is it known if the price hike is limited to the United States? Yes, that has been confirmed. Actually, we've gotten reports from Japan, from different places over Europe, and the prices have not been impacted. And actually, that's one of the kind of the qualms. Is that a word, qualm? That's one of the issues. I don't know what qualm means, but I just said it anyway. That's one of the issues that I have with this price increase. I have like a few issues with the way it was implemented. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I'll give you my full analysis on these Patek Philippe price increases coming up in only 5 minutes. But yes, apparently these price increases are restricted or limited or exclusive to Patek Philippe customers in the United States. And that's a concern. That is a concern. Hey, we got Brody in the chat with a $5 highlighted comment. Poll. Who has a more difficult journey? The Patek collector, the FP Journe collector, the AP collector, or the Tudor sales associate? Great question. Let's start. Listen, it's a $5 super chat. So we reward our super chatters. So we're going to start a poll. More difficult journey. Let's see here, and let's add in those options here. It's going to be Patek collector, AP collector, Journe collector, or Tudor sales associate. Boom. Poll is live. Vote in the poll. It'll be a quick poll. We got 30 people watching, so maybe if we get to 10, the first 10 people who vote in the poll will be rewarded by having their voices heard. If you're late, too bad. This is not a democracy, guys. Not a democracy. People get rewarded for good behavior. So if you are one of the first people to vote in the poll, then you get your voice heard. If you don't vote in the poll, you don't. Simple as that. OC literally lost his shirt on his Patek collection. Yes, it's true. I'm just relaxing, enjoying the sun, and hanging out with you guys. Thank you, Brody, for the super chat. Boston Collector. Here we go. Boston Collector always bringing very good analytical insight to the channel. This is why Audemars Piguet is the best, and Patek Philippe just can't compete. AP would never raise their prices, and in fact, care so much about their collectors that they even reduced the manufacturer's suggested retail price on some Code 1159 chronographs. AP #1. Do you agree with Boston? Do you agree that this actually strengthens the position of AP collectors? Or will people be abandoning their Patek journeys and pivoting or strengthening their AP journeys? Let's go to 15 votes in the poll. Let's 2 more votes. 2 more votes, and we will close the poll. The poll, the more difficult journey, being a Patek collector, being an AP collector, being a Journe collector, or being a Tudor sales associate. Vote now in the poll. We're about to end it. We have room for 1 more vote. Vote quickly. We got room for only 1 more vote. Boom, poll is closed. I told you the polls will go with lightning speed. Hey, the more difficult journey, Tudor sales associate with 56% of the vote. Followed up in second place, Journe collector, 25% of the vote. AP collector, 13% of the vote. And Patek collector came in last with only 6% of the vote. That means and I don't want to misinterpret, but based on the poll results, people don't think that the Patek collecting journey is that difficult. They think the AP collecting journey is harder. Journe is even harder than that. And of course, being a tutor sales associate is damn near impossible. Impossible. 56% of the vote for tutor sales associate. Thank you for voting in the poll. Keep the quotes coming, guys. Keep the quotes coming. You never actually own a Patek Philippe because we never actually allocate you one. Very, very good. I like that one. That could be a finalist. That could be a finalist. Vimal, you never actually own a Patek. True, the ex does after the divorce. Let's see. We got Cloud Ken in the chat. Cloud Ken always throwing the spice in the chat. Love Cloud Ken in the chat. Andy Lewis. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Andy Lewis? We've got Raj G, who's a member. Andy Lewis is a member too. Raj G is a member. Time is priceless, but Patek Philippe keeps figuring out a way to charge more for it. Jonathan Smith in the chat. What's up, Jonathan? By the way, if you want to become a member of the OC channel, the membership link is pinned at the top. Become a member or upgrade your membership today. And if you want to join the panel, I'll drop the link right here. Boom. Join the panel. That's the link. Click on that nice blue link and you're in. Andy Lewis, who's a Patek Philippe owner. He's not just an owner, he's a collector. He's an enthusiast. Multiple pieces. Andy Lewis has multiple pieces. And by the way, the retail price of the pieces that he owns has gone up, up, up. So I'm going to say, listen, is Patek a great investment? Yes. Patek is an awesome investment. Patek Philippe following the U.S. model and increasing the debt of their collectors, citizens, is quite ingenious. There you go. So Patek is actually helping us get further into debt. Thank you, Andy Lewis. Earls is going to keep those rapid fire quotes coming in the chat. You never actually own a Patek Philippe. We can tell by the looks of that Ming on your wrist. Yeah. If you have Ming, you have no business owning Patek Philippe. Ming is junk. Sorry, guys. Ming is junk. I'm not going to be afraid if you just joined us. This is the original OC channel, Smartwatch Talk for the Smart Collector. We only endorse the purchase of 4 brands here on this channel: Patek Philippe, Rolex, AP, and Richard Mille. We don't endorse buying Ming or Norcane or Oris or any of that, or especially Tudor, any of that stuff. I don't call it garbage. We don't use that. We don't use the term garbage watches here. We don't say shitters. That's disrespectful. We just don't recommend that you purchase those watches. It's our obligation. It's our responsibility to the global watch community. Ask not, says Vimal. Ask not what Patek can do for you. Ask what you can do for your Patek. There, I was channeling my my President John F. Kennedy there. Pretty good, right? It wasn't bad. I'm not an impressionist, but that wasn't that bad, right? Mr. G is in the chat. He's a Patek customer. Patek is out of their mind. I disagree. I think Patek is doubling down on solidifying their position as the ultra premium choice, the ultra premium brand in the Swiss luxury timepiece marketplace. And I think 5-10 years from now, we're going to look back and say these prices were affordable. We're going to look back and say, I should have picked up that awesome Platinum 6196 when it was only $50,000, right? I should have picked up that awesome Patek 6119 Calatrava when it was only $50,000. People had an opportunity to buy it at $35,000. They screwed up. They waited too long. Andy Lewis, taking advantage of his member milestone chat. If you have a star next to your name, please click on the currency icon in the chat. When you do that, you might have a selection there that says free member milestone chat. Please make sure to use those before you lose them. Andy Lewis is using his. He says Patek is not expensive. It is costly. That's a good distinction. Very good distinction, Andy Lewis. By the way, remind us in the chat. I think he's 3 deep in the Patek journey. I think he has 3 watches. 3 great Patek Philippe's. Hey, look at this. Got Doc in his watch. Patek Philippe customer. I wish there were a way for us to filter the chat by if you own a Patek or not. That would be a cool filtering mechanism. Only allow Patek customers who bought from the AD. A Doc in his watch. Petition to add Vacheron, Breguet, and JLC. Impossible. Definitely not doing that. I will not be doing that. For 2025, for 2025, we're focused very, very strictly and exclusively on the crown and the cross. Rolex and Patek at the beginning of the year. We made it very, very clear. This is editorial now. I'm giving you an editorial. Does not, the views and opinions expressed by Original OC don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Original OC channel or Original the Brand LLC. But I'm a little bit of commentary now, editorial. I said at the very beginning of the year, focus on Rolex, double down on Rolex, double down on Patek. And I was right. I was proved right, and I continue to be right. And for those of you saying, oh, well, I waited too long. Maybe I shouldn't start my Patek journey after all. There's no better time to start it than yesterday. Yesterday would have been a great time to start it, but you missed it. So start today. Patek is only going to be more expensive. And by the way, check it out. What am I wearing today? What am I wearing today? I am wearing the, let's see here. How do I do this? The Patek Philippe. Look at that. White gold. Reach for the cross, guys. Reach for the cross. The white gold Calatrava cross clasp, revealing the gorgeous Patek Philippe annual calendar. I'm in the shade, so I'm not sure how it looks, but listen, this is the annual calendar, blue gradient dial, white gold case, diamond baguette indices. And congratulations, by the way, to Gatsby. Gatsby actually picked up this exact same model. Maybe he was inspired. I'm a bad influence. I can be a very bad influence. But yeah, I'm rocking the Patek. I'm proud. I'm proud to be a Patek customer. And by the way, I'm Team Terry. I'm Team Terry. Some of you guys aren't Team Terry. And I say that you guys are haters. Now, did Patek do this whole rollout of the price increases flawlessly? No, they did not. And I'll tell you exactly the little things that they got wrong in just a couple of minutes. I'll do a full editorial on the price increases coming up. No, but we're not adding Breguet. We're not adding JLC. Although, Doc and his watch, you've got a beautiful new JLC Tribute Chronograph Reverso. If you haven't seen the unboxing, go back a couple of streams back. Doc and his watch unboxed it here on this channel. It's one of the best reversos, and he made the right call. He defied the moratorium. He went outside of the approval process, but he was granted an exemption. He was granted clemency. Brigade, definitely not. And Vacheron, no chance. No chance we'll be adding that to the approved brand list. Not for 2025, at least. Fuck that. We're going Patek. We're going all in on Patek and Rolex. Let's see here. Earls. Keep these comments coming. I love these slogans. You never actually own a Patek Philippe, says Earls. Your Nautilus uses a JLC caliber 920 movement. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. We've got Mal in the chat. Upvote the live stream, everybody. Upvote the live stream. Don't make me check the live stream and see nothing there. I'm gonna check it right now. Let's see what we got here. Are you serious? We don't have 25 likes? Come on, guys. There's 50 people watching. That's 50 people watching. We have 46 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch, 1 on Kick, 1 on Grindr, and 1 on MySpace. Guys, if you're on MySpace, if you're that one person on MySpace, upvote the live stream. I want to see 25 likes. Jeez, there's so many lurkers. Come on, even the lurkers and the haters got to upvote. You got to upvote. You know the rules. I bought a Patek, says Mal, from the AD. That's the authorized dealer, the official Patek retailer. Luckily in England, the prices are the same, so we're all good here. If anyone needs me to pick them up a Patek, let me know. Thank you very much. I appreciate the community service. Thank you for offering to help. And we've got Jonathan Smith who says, no Patek here. OC RM is pricey, but it looks like a kid's poop watch. I don't get RM. Yeah. Well, you know, some people don't get RM. I understand. It's included in the list of approved brands because it's still a great brand. Still a great brand. I support it. I support it. Could it fall off the list for 2026? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You never know. But we're pretty much focused pretty exclusively on the crown and the cross. The crown and the cross. Rolex and Patek. OC focusing on the wrong cross, says Whole Milk. It's time to find Jesus. I appreciate it. Whole Milk is looking to have me what is that, salvation? I'm not super religious, so my apologies if I don't know the terms. He's looking to save my soul. Thank you, Whole Milk. Appreciate the concern. Ghost of Yiddish Gambino is in the chat. He's also a member. By the way, congratulations, Ghost of Yiddish Gambino, on unboxing a Tudor. Yes. He unboxed the Tudor last night or the night before on the Watch Hangout channel. Check out the Watch Hangout channel where they unbox all kinds of watches inside the approved brands and outside. I've reduced my Patek collection down to my all-time favorite, the 5905P. That P indicates platinum, black dial annual calendar chronograph. The best Patek you can get for 35% off retail. 5905P. Is that a current model? 5905P. Nope. Not a current model. Not a current model. There's a 5905R. Let's check that one out. 59. Oh, it's a pretty watch. Yeah, this is the rose gold flyback chronograph annual calendar. And it's priced at a modest, for the rose gold version, priced at a modest $96,311. $96,311. I say that's a bargain. Anyway, lots of comments flying in it. As soon as I'm caught up on the comments, I'm going to give you my commentary on this price increase because I do have some thoughts on it. And I am Team Terry. I am Team Terry, and I do support my local Patek Philippe retailers. Shout out to them. You know who you are. Vimal says, breaking news. OC revealed as mastermind behind the Patek Philippe price hike. Had a clandestine meeting with Stern in Geneva. I did meet Terry Stern in Geneva, but we did not talk about price increases. Next hammer to drop soon. Thank you, Alexa Jones. Alexa Jones. Alexa Jones is one of the leading conspiracy theorists in the wristwatch industry. Yeah, it's not true. I deny it. Those claims are unfounded. The claims are unfounded. Thank you for upvoting, Jonathan Smith. Got Trap Vision 3D in the chat. What's up, Trap Vision? Got Matthias, who's a member here, reminding everybody to upvote the live stream. That's right. Let's get to 35 likes. Let's get to 35 likes. Got CQ the Watch Guy in the chat. What's up? Drop the link is in the chat. Jump on the panel. Let's talk about these price increases. Don't be shy. As a matter, I might surprise you with my opinion because I'm actually for these price increases, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why coming up. Boston Collector, see, Boston Collector gets it. He gets it. He understands. If anyone in the chat doesn't want to pick up their Aquanaut because the price is too high and they had a price increase, let me know. That's right. When the 80 calls, you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen, guys? When Patek calls and says, hey, you know what? You have an Aquanaut. You know what you're going to do? You're going to you're going to hang up the phone, and then you're going to run. You're going to run. You're going to run as fast as you can to the Patek AD. And you're going to say, I'm coming right away. I'm coming. Hypocrites. Yeah. Boston, I agree 100%. If anybody doesn't want their Nautilus or their Cubitus or their Aquanaut, let me know. I'll happily take your spot. CQ, wishing everyone a happy Patek price increase day. Happy price hike. It's the price hike heard round the world. Let's see here. Patek has decided, says Boston Collector, to milk elderly men in their are you calling me elderly? I don't think I'm that old. Patek has decided to milk elderly men in their twilight years. They need to raise prices faster before everybody dies off, and they give that money to their kids who will buy AP instead. Wow. I don't think the kids will buy AP. I think the kids will respect their parents' wishes and stay loyal to Patek. Okay, Julius Caesar in the chat says, how did Patek come up with $311 on the pricing? Okay, okay, I'm going to go into my my editorial now. Ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions expressed by Original OC do not necessarily reflect the views of anybody else. Hey, got MJ in the chat. MG, the third gen strikes again, referring to Terry Stern as the third generation family member to run Patek Philippe. I'll let you digest his comment and interpret it as you wish. Mal with a flamingo blue highlighted comment from the UK. Terry doesn't want the pores. They discussed him. Yeah, that is true. I'm Team Terry. I am Team Terry. Okay, so here's my commentary, guys. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these price increases. Number one, I think it was a mistake to do them on the 15th of September. Okay. I just, they could have waited for a different day. I don't understand the urgency to do it on the 15th of September. I think they could have done it on October 1st. It would have seemed more logical, more planned, more thought out. And so I disagree with doing it on the 15th of September. I just think it just looks petty. It looks petty to not do it at the beginning of the month. It looks more planned. It looks more strategic. It looks more routine, right? If they would have done it at the beginning of a month. Number two, I think that they should not have done consistent price increase percentages across the board. We've looked at some of the price increases, and while I thought that they would raise prices on certain models by a certain percentage and prices on other models by a different percentage, they slapped the same percentage across the board. And I think that makes the price increase look arbitrary. And I think it makes it look like it was capricious, arbitrary and capricious. I think they could have varied the price increases. So some models got 15%, some got 7%, some had 3%, some had 14% or whatever. Mixed it up so it didn't look like they did just an arbitrary 15% across the board. I think that's a mistake. I think it makes it look like someone took a spreadsheet, threw all the prices in there, said, listen, we're losing X amount of margin based on our transfer price. Okay, so what do we need to do to make it up? I don't know. We'll add 15% onto the US customers. So that's beef number two. Number three is the idiot who was in charge of the price increases. Yeah, I mean, didn't round up to the nearest 100. It's so embarrassing. It's so fucking embarrassing to have a price like $125,047. Who the fuck approves that? I'm being fucking serious here. This is not a shtick. Who in the marketing department approves this? You should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. Round it down to 125 even. It's fucking embarrassing, okay? Number four, there should have been some price increases in other geographies. By doing it as a US only price increase, it makes it look like it's tied to the situation with the tariffs. It makes it look spiteful. It makes it look like you're punishing US customers. It makes it look like you have a beef with Trump. Like, hey, we're going to punish you, Trump, because you impose these tariffs. It's not good optics. Okay, so for those four reasons, and there may be other reasons, but those four things they could have changed and done differently, and this price increase would have been better received, would have been accepted more. So listen, and if Terry wants to talk about these things, he has my number. But some of these things, they have zero excuse. I mean, I would have done, let's say they argue, listen, we don't want to do big price increases around the world. We wanted to focus the price increases on the US. Great. But you can do 2% increases in the other places. You could do 2% in Asia, 3% in Europe, and 12% in the US or whatever it is. So you could have done it you could have done global price increases. You could have spread it out a little bit for better optics. You could have taken a better look at the catalog and do different percentage price increases based on the model. I mean, some models are very difficult to sell. They're not difficult to sell. They're challenging. Like their secondary price is challenging. Maybe you don't increase the prices as much on those. I don't know, or maybe you increase them more. I don't know, whatever. But you could have varied the price increase percentage. You could have made sure that these prices don't end with a fucking 47. CMO of Patek Philippe, come on, get your fucking act together. And number 4, don't do the price increases on the 15th of the month. Do them on the 1st, or tie them with a new release. Come out with a new watch that's in the news, and then implement price increases on that day when you're dropping a few new models or a few new variants. Do you agree or disagree with my editorial? Let me know in the chat. Mal says it's because the dollar has weakened, so the price increases are flat across the board. I know, but you don't want to give that impression. It's not a mistake because it's not a supply chain or tariff issue. It's a mistake to raise them a specific percentage across the board. Okay? Because it makes it look arbitrary. And it makes it look like you haven't strategically thought about the impact on the different collections and the different models. And by the way, you've also now created a price discrepancy between the US and the rest of the world. So now prices in Europe are cheaper than the United States. Prices in Asia are cheaper than the United States. That's never a good thing. And they're going to have to fix that. They're going to have to fix it one way or the other. They're going to have to fix it one way or the other. Jonathan Smith says, Patek has some fabulous models. You guys are very lucky if you own or wear one. Yes, we are. I'm wearing the fantastic annual calendar 5396G. If you have one, you are awesome. If you have a Patek Philippe, type the reference number in the chat. We'll take a look at the new price. I pulled up Ghost of Yiddish Gambino's equivalent model. It's not the platinum, but it was the rose gold. If you have a Patek, let me know the reference and I'll pull it up. If you're just joining us, it's the Original OC channel. We are talking about the impact of these price increases. I'm Team Terry. I think he should have done price increases. And I think it does an effective job positioning Patek as the ultra premium choice. Listen, they're not AP, they're not Vacheron, they're not Cartier. They are the pinnacle, the tippity top of the Matterhorn. They can afford to raise prices. And it's your fault for not starting the journey sooner. You are the one to blame. Okay? You are the one to blame if you didn't jump on the Patek journey soon enough. Okay? Look at the smart people. The smart people jumped on the Patek journey. That's people like Boston Collector. It's people like me. Even I did it. I wanted a dress watch. I said, in 2024, I said, listen, you know what? I'd like a great dress watch. You know what? I'm only going to go with one brand, the best brand, Patek Philippe. And I bought my annual calendar. Diego M has a Patek Philippe. Buckley has a Patek Philippe. He has the 5396 R. Beautiful watch, 5396R. And I bet you he's glad he bought it. Okay? He's glad he bought it. And anyone who bought a Patek Philippe at retail, okay? At retail, at list price with your name on the paperwork, is proud to own that watch. Okay? Listen, there are people who are winners and they're able to get allocated Patek at retail. And then there are people who can't, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. If you want to join the panel, there's the link. Boom. Let your opinions be heard. Jump on. But this should be debated because there are a lot of people who are disgruntled out there. There are a lot of people who are whiny little bitches tonight about the price of Patek. And they're going to give you their spreadsheets like, oh, it doesn't pay to start the journey because you're going to lose money on watches. Listen, then the journey is not for you. The journey isn't for you. Listen, if you can afford to spend $90,000 on a watch, then you can afford to spend $100,000. Do I want to spend more? No. But listen, you guys have to learn. You have to learn that. Here's a phrase that I like to tell my kids: you snooze, you lose. You ever heard that expression? You snooze, you lose. Listen, it's the OC channel. We're doing a little bit of fun color commentary, a little bit of satire. But listen, I am Team Terry. I do think long term, listen, they need to be careful. They need to be careful. I wouldn't have done the price increases the way they did them. I wouldn't have done them just in the US. I would have spread it out a little bit, do some token price increases in Japan, in Asia, in Europe, 2% here, 4% there, make it look like a global thing. I would have changed the percentages based on the collection and the model. I wouldn't have done the same percentage across the board. I think that looks arbitrary and capricious. It just looks ridiculous. I think the most offensive thing is how they have these stupid prices, $125,000 and $47. Come on, fix that. I'm calling on Patek Philippe I'm calling on them today to fix it today. And I know people who work at Patek watch this channel. Guys, if you're watching this, go into the fucking CMO's office and say, listen, these price releases in the US, the prices now look stupid. Okay? We're not going to sell a watch for $125,000 and $47. We're going to go through every model. We're going to fix it. We're going to round up to the nearest 1,000 or round down to the nearest 1,000. How about that? How about we round down to the nearest 1,000 or the nearest 100? And you know what? We're going to reprint the fucking tags too. But it's going to take time to reprint the tag. I don't give a fuck. We're reprinting the tags. Guys, global memo going out today to all the authorized dealers. Halt. We're doing a stop on all sales. We're reprinting the tags with lower prices. We're not going to gouge a $125,000 customer for fucking $47. It's a fucking outrage. Okay? But other than that, I'm Team Terry. Other than those minor issues, listen, Patek is the best. You're going to pay more. Okay? People who are complaining about $50,000 Calatravas now had a chance to buy them at 35. They pussed out and they didn't buy them at 35. And now they're whining and complaining that they didn't buy them, that they now have to pay 50. Diego M., welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
How are you? How are you processing this news? Has it sunk in? I know there's sticker shock, and you and I have been on calls all day today talking about the impact.
No, we haven't. I've been working. What are you talking about?
We've been on calls, I think, for 12 hours now, since 5 a.m. We've been discussing this.
How am I handling it?
How are you handling it?
Doesn't really affect me. I'm more so trying to understand it. And
I was boosting up your volume. You may have cut out for a second. You still there? Diego? Okay, he's not there. Check your mic again. Oh, okay. Yeah, come back. Come back. I boosted your microphone volume. Bob NYC's in the chat. You're back. Check.
All right. Does that work now?
Yep, you're back. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I just increased your volume, but maybe it
So I
froze
was
at the time.
saying, for me, it doesn't really affect me. I'm more so trying to understand it. And on the whole, face value, it's understandable as night and day, or as clear as night and day. There was a 39% tariff imposed. A deal was not stricken, and they didn't increase it by 39. They said, well, based on our cost basis, it's about 15, and the United States is reaping what it sowed. But I think it's more than that. I think it is Terry Stern has been very vocal about his dislike for our president. He's been very brash to say things that, Patek Philippe isn't the brand for everybody. If you can't afford it, sorry. Like, we don't want you, and we don't need you. I think very similarly how brands like IWC and Tag Heuer, Tudor, Panerai, they open up these ADs, these standalone ADs, because of how well they did the past 5 years, and they didn't stop to think, well, did we really do well, or was there a Rolex carrot at the top of the mountain that got us here? I think the same thing's happening with Patek, is they have a really big book of quote unquote clients, but it's really just people that have expressed interest. And there's people that have been waiting years. So I think that they have a lot more customers than they really do. I would say anywhere from 50 to 60, maybe even 70% of the customers that expressed interest 4 years ago, if they got the call today, they looked at how much more expensive the watch they asked for is, they probably say no. I don't think it was a very wise decision. I think it was very short-sighted. And last thing I'll say on this long tirade is that the shitty thing about the whole situation is Patek Philippe is not the type of company that if these tariffs go away, they're going to drop their prices. And so these prices are here to stay. This is the new norm for Patek Philippe pricing. And it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard to swallow. It's hard to let it to have it sink in that, because a lot of it is illogical, right? Like something that was 60,000 yesterday is 70,000 today, and you're not getting anything for that $10,000. You're getting no additional value. You're getting nothing. So it's just hard to process, right? It's just like it defies lot. You're just not getting anything for it, so it's hard to chew and like why.
I mean, I think what it's going to do, so I keep using the 5172 as my example. That's a watch that a year ago, I believe out the door it was like 87. And the reason I know that, well, maybe not a year ago. I think when I was in Italy, I could have purchased one, and I did the numbers, and I think out the door was 87. That same watch, less than maybe 2.25 years later, is I think 135 out the door. That's insane.
The perpetual calendar or the chronograph?
I think the chrono, it might not be 135. It might be like 110 or something. But either way, Brody said it best earlier. We've seen a 25% increase in less than a year. That's a lot. And what are you getting for that money?
Yeah, person in the back room, just type in your name or a flasher camera or something.
Because think about this, OC. If I've been waiting for this watch that we're looking at right now, what's the retail? 106, so plus 8% sales tax. So you're looking at $115,000, $117,000. You can do a lot with that in the watch game. you can do a lot with that in your personal life. I think that someone that asked for this watch even a year ago, when it was going to be 87, 90 something, and now it's 117, they're probably going to go, oh shit. Let me think about this. Oh, I can buy a CS, a Journe CS, or I can buy a Platinum Daytona, or I can buy a white gold Oysterflex Daytona and a Day, and have money left over, and take a badass trip. This watch is beautiful, but I think even at 87, it was a little steep. You know, what are you getting? You're getting a 2-register white gold chronograph. You know what? You can buy a Zeitwerk and a Datograph for the price of some of these pieces now.
They are expensive. Andy Lewis in the chat member says most of these guys crying that they are underwater with Patek Philippe are the same ones who willingly got married and have kids. Talk about being in the red. Thank you. And we have Ghost of Guilloche. Welcome.
Hey. So
What's up?
you said something amazingly smart. So alert the media. Yeah, alert the media. The comment about a 15% across the board price increase.
The police are coming for you. Yeah.
Not here. The 15% across the board price increase, again, just looks completely arbitrary. When Rolex rolled out all of their big price increases earlier in the year, you know, they did 14% on precious metal Daytonas. They did 2% on steel. They actually made it look like there was a reason behind it.
Exactly.
And the fact that Patek did this, it makes absolutely no sense to me.
And the other part,
the other part of it is it's not just the 15% price increase. It's the fact that they cut the AD's retainage down to between 27 and 31%. So it went down by 6 to 9%. What the AD
is that confirmed? I mean, I know that I have heard reports that their margin was reduced, but we don't know how much was reduced. I mean, typically, I think Rolex margin is now down to 31%, I believe. I mean, Patek is probably right in that area, but I don't know if they cut it 6 points. I mean,
I've spoken to a couple of ADs, and one
they lie. ADs lie. I mean,
of course they lie. The person I will just say that the person that I've heard from, or the two people that I've heard from, I've done non-watch buying business with before on the legal end of things. So I don't think that they were lying to me about it.
I mean, they want to make it sound like they're struggling and they're suffering, and the reality is, if they kept the margin, let's say the margins before were 32% and it got slashed to 31%, with these price increases, they're making 4%. They're making 4% more money now if they sell everything that they get than they were before. They're making more money, not less. So retailers should, in a way, be celebrating. Is their job harder? Sure. They have to actually sell, but that's what they get paid to do. You know, their job is to sell jewelry and watches, and the sales associates' job is to sell, which means, you know what? You got to pick up the phone. You got to call people. You got to go through the request list. You have to make sure those people are actually committed to buying those watches at the new prices. It's work, but that's what they get paid to do. That's why they're that's why they're picked as the official retailer for Patek. Yeah. Go for it.
Regardless of why this happened or if it's fair, I think we can all agree it was handled very poorly, and that there was an avenue where they could have explained it, where people would understand. All they had to say was make a press release and say, due to the recent tariffs, and in an effort, to maintain our business as we have a right to do so, we unfortunately are having to increase in the interim the prices of our watches in the United States market. Subsequently, authorized dealers have also agreed to take a X% hit on their revenue. Deal be made, our price will retroactively go back to pre-tariff rates. If they had said that, I don't think anybody would be bitching at Patek Philippe or Terry Stern. We all would have said, well, this sucks, but it is what it is. Instead, in the fucking cloak of night, I mean, these prices were up last night, right, OC?
Yeah, well, last night, it was midnight Geneva time was when the
Yes.
website was refreshed. So, yeah.
I haven't seen any press releases. I haven't seen any explanations. We have the precedence of Terry Stern being outspoken against Trump. We have him on record saying, you know, if you can't afford this shit, too bad. This feels like a power move. This feels like I don't give a shit about you. But to what we were talking about earlier today, it's very short-sighted. The U.S. market makes up 38% of sales for Patek Philippe. This is a very, very bad move. They have watches right now currently being offered to off-the-street walk-ins. Yet we're being told that these watches are very hard to get. There's a wait list for 100 people for each piece at a minimum, blah, blah, blah. Well, if that's the case, then why are these ADs cold calling customers? And I don't know if you touched on this, but saying, hey, if you've been thinking about picking one of these up, you better come today because the prices go up tomorrow. I really think that they have less customers, less qualified customers, or just people that don't have the stomach anymore than they think they do. We saw what happened with Longue. In my opinion, Longue increased their pricing because they wanted to escape this flipper mentality of their customers. They wanted their pieces to be for the real watch collectors. And people didn't respond to it very well. And Patek Philippe, I'm sorry, but do they make a nice dress watch? They sure do. But I think 60 to 70% of their customers, while they may enjoy the dress pieces and they may stomach one or two, they really want the Nautilus or the Aquanaut. And when you increase prices 25% in 6 months, you're going to lose a lot of customers, either because of the actual dollar value or just out of principle. You know,
Guilloche Gambino, you've had multiple Pateks over the years. You've been at this longer than I have. What do you think about Diego's commentary there? I mean,
I think it makes a lot of sense. And there's one other thing to think about is, 90% of the Patek references that are either currently in the catalog or have been within the catalog in the last 5 to 7 years, for example, trade for well below their retail price on the secondary market. And I don't know whether or not, when 9 out of 10 of your watches sells at a huge discount on the secondary market, whether or not you're going to be able to sustain the hype for that Nautilus and that Aquanaut when the rest of your catalog is viewed as dogs, or is getting sold quickly after being purchased by the people who feel forced into buying those pieces in order to get that Aquanaut or that Nautilus. We've seen what's happened with AP over the last year and a half. I mean, even taking the COVID bubble out of it, the fact is you get a code for 60% off, 65% off its retail price. And eventually the stink, starts to cover everything. And we've watched, and I think we're going to continue to see like the Royal Oak come back down to its retail price. Right now they're trading for only a small percentage over the retail price plus tax. I think eventually you wind up with that with Patek, who's making, 40, 50, 60,000 watches a year. It's not like they're Journe. It's not like they're, any of the other independents that make 1,000 watches a year, or Longa that makes 5,000 watches a year. There are tens of thousands of Pateks that you could go buy for huge discounts off retail. And I don't see why customers don't choose to do that. If they like those watches, they're going to go buy them on the secondary.
I think a consequence. Let's pretend like there are customers out there that don't want an Aquanaut and don't want a Nautilus. They just want an upper tier dress watch. Patek has just made those customers that truly appreciate high horology dress pieces and complications. They've just made all those customers turn their head and look at Lange and Vacheron and go, I could spend $120,000 on a Patek 2 register chrono, or I could have a datograph.
You can have a datograph for tens of thousands of dollars less.
Exactly. You can get a Zeitler. You can get. It's the list goes on, and it's not just Lange. It's. I'm going to buy, instead of a $135,000 annual or perpetual, the one that Keslow has. I'm going to buy a Journe. I'm going to spend $135 anyway. I'm going to get a Journe. Fuck it.
Yeah, and I mean, most of my Patek purchases have been off the secondary because I would rather have two really nice Pateks that way than go down the route. I could have probably bought the Pateks that I've owned from the AD. They were going to be freely available to me at an authorized dealer. But the pricing even then was stupid. And if you think about it right now, let's say your quote unquote Patek journey is a dress, a Calatrava, a complication, not even a grand comp, but just a complication, in order to become quote unquote eligible to get a 5167 as a third watch. And frankly, that's not even really reasonable. It's probably a fourth watch, but let's just say it's a third watch. You could go get your Calatrava. You could go get a OC like the weekly calendar that you have, which I think is a great watch. It's a fantastic watch. And I'm sure you're very happy that it's $5,000 more today than it was 2 days ago.
6,000. Yeah.
6,000. So, again, like right now, if you told me, Nathan, you could go get a 6119G, the 5212A, and the Aquanaut 5167, all a year or two old, all still under warranty, all in mint condition. You get all three of those watches for the same price on the secondary market as it would on the primary market, and you could get them all today. Why is anybody going down the tree?
So let me know if you guys lose my signal, but we ran through some numbers today on what I would say is an unrealistic journey, but potentially a journey. It was a 6119, it was a 5172, and then you get a 5726 as your third. Pie in the sky dreams. It happens. Amazing would be if you were to buy the 24.
Yeah, we're losing
$61,000 more than you should have.
Yeah.
Based on the value that you can get from those watches if you were to sell them. $61,000 delta. So it's like, and that doesn't take into account the time, and it doesn't take into account the fact that it's not a guarantee that you get the Nautilus as your third piece.
Yeah,
so
I was
you're
doing
taking
the same.
A huge risk.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the 5167. So you could go out on the secondary market and get a year-old or potentially unworn, uncut Strat 5167A for between $70,000 and $75,000. I mean, that's still, that's $40,000 to $45,000 over retail price. If you had to go the 6119 route and then a 5212, which again, I'm not throwing shade at the watch OC. It's one of my favorites that they make, but the reality is just the reality. So you're going to pay about $40,000 now for a 6119. You're going to pay $48,000 for a 5212. And if you sell those, you're going to lose 18,000 now on the 6119. I see those trading all the time for between 21 and 3. You're going to lose 20,000 or 15,000 on the 5212. There's one that's available for sale, full set right now, I think on eBay for $30,000. So you could get it for a better price than that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
congratulations.
a 5167 with retail is 35,000 now.
Or it's 29.5.
No, I'm talking with tax. With tax.
Okay, sure. But even if you don't take the tax into consideration, the amount that you will lose on the 6119 and the 5212 just made up 100% of the premium that you would pay for the 5167. And you don't need
you're talking
you're going to get
you're
it.
talking you're talking uncut strap, unworn. You don't have to buy 5167 in that configuration. You can get them cheaper.
Yep.
So you took the worst case scenario and even the cheapest sports piece they have and two of the cheapest pieces you can get, and it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And I mean,
when you do it with any other piece, it only gets worse.
Exactly. And I happen to not be a Nautilus person. The Pateks that I've owned, I like complications. I got a 5905 annual calendar flyback chronograph in platinum, which frankly is, in my opinion, as good as it gets in the normal, Patek range. My Grail Patek that I would want, more than anything in the catalog, is the the 5271R. So it's the perpetual calendar chronograph, rose gold black dial on the bracelet.
Yeah.
It's that watch at retail today after the price increase is $287,000. I get offered that watch for under 130 at least 2 or 3 times a week. It just makes no sense.
So
and honestly, I don't think the brand can sustain itself long term with 90% of its watches selling for half their retail price.
Well,
People will just bounce there.
The domino effect that might happen is, let's talk pre-price increase. These watches were, okay, yes, some people wanted them, but the numbers don't lie. They sell below retail, which means there is no supply-demand issue with these pieces. So that's a given. You just increase the price. What's going to happen to demand? I believe it will go down. What happens to supply? You just increased it. So you're making a problem that Patek has as a brand worse. So what's going to happen now when somebody decides, well, I did get the call for the 5172. Are the gray market dealers going to increase their price for those watches? I don't know. Because guess what? Nobody's buying them. Even less people are buying them from the ADs, which means they're a lot easier to get, which means why would I pay you more?
Yeah, and the other thing here is also this, and then I'll shut up for a while, which is if we enjoy the hobby, I love the hobby. I mean, it's obviously the worst financial decision I've ever made in my entire life, but I still love the hobby. I like seeing new people come into the hobby. It used to be, if you were a professional, you got, 1 or 2 Rolexes, you're a lawyer, doctor starting out, you're working in investment, whatever. At some point after getting a couple of Rolexes and you get the next promotion, you're quote unquote in your mind, if you like watches, you're ready to move up. And what you would be ready to move up to would typically be some form of Patek. And okay, I've spent $10,000 on a GMT before. I've spent $10,000 on a sub before. I've spent the same kind of money on a date, a Datejust 41. I'm ready to move up to a Patek. I just got to be assistant vice president or whatever. You're looking for a $25,000 watch. I don't think that for regular people on that kind of professional pathway of spending money on watches are going to feel comfortable going from 10 to 12,000 on Rolex to the cheapest Patek being $40,000. 25. I mean, again, the 6119, yeah, 45 with sales tax on a 6119. Where is the $25,000 Patek for the first Patek buyer? And if all you're going to do is not get new first Patek buyers in their 20s or early 30s to come into the brand, what happens to your brand? I mean, $40,000 is a huge jump to go from the $10,000 or $15,000 Rolex that you've purchased previously, just from a mental standpoint.
A side effect of these increases is I want the cheapest path into Patek. And what is that? 6119. So guess what's going to happen to demand of those? Maybe the demand of those increases so much that now you can't get one of those. So what are you going to do?
Honestly, I think people just turn away from the brand, especially if they've bid in Rolex and you were thinking, okay, I'm going to go spend $25,000 on a Patek. They're gonna, and the cheapest Patek is going to cost me $45,000. They're going to stay with Rolex and start to look what the next step up is there, because they've been comfortable with Rolex.
It is a shame when brands have prospective customers who love the brand and want to get into the brand, and for whatever reason, those customers get turned away. A lot of times they get turned away because of a very poor customer experience at retail, at the point of sale. They get disenfranchised. They don't like the game. They don't like how they were treated at retail. But some of it is the economics, and Patek has just exacerbated a problem that was there before with people entering into the brand. I mean, a lot of to Diego's point, a lot of the incentive for people to get into the brand at retail and create a journey, create a relationship with an authorized retailer is to be able to, number one, have your name on the papers, which is psychological and whatever.
Yeah.
But in the future, to have standing with them and a purchase history. So as you buy watches over many, many years, you hopefully would get considered for harder to get pieces that go for over retail. And if you make the economics as such that it doesn't, where you're making it harder and harder to make that spreadsheet work, the economics of, okay, well, I'm going to buy two pieces that I like. I know they're not the best investments. They're going to go, I could buy them for 15,000 less on secondary, but I'm going to buy them from retail because I want to preserve that flexibility of having the relationship. You're making it that much harder for those people to start. And you want to balance rewarding VIP customers with making your brand attractive to first-time customers. And you can't do it with $50,000 watches. With combining the $50,000 watches with, you have zero chance of actually getting a sport piece or something that'll go for over.
Even if the numbers made sense, even if it made sense to go down the journey, you still have to factor that it's not a guarantee, and you need to factor the time.
Yeah,
we're living in a world where not only does it not make sense, you could lose your ass, and you could be holding 2 to 3 dress pieces 3 years later. And this is another thing we talked about. Your store closes, your sales associate quits or gets fired. Your piece came in, but sorry, LeBron James was in town. You know how it is.
Too many variables. There's too much risk. Yeah.
Yes.
Gambino being roasted for in the chat for saying Patek instead of Patek. It's okay. You can say it both ways, but you can you reserve the right to get roasted by people. Hey, ZD, welcome. Hold on a second. ZD, welcome to the panel, and thank you for becoming a member. ZD just became a member and jumping on the panel. Thank you.
So fired up about these increases, I thought I'd rather give my money to you.
You have. Thank you. Well, listen, you have a panel with 4 Patek owners here, so we don't have zero knowledge on the subject.
We got skin in the game.
We got skin in the game, but
I own one as well. I feel.
Yeah, but more important than that, I think it's wrong. One of the things with which I take issue with Terry on is there are people who love the brand and are enthusiasts of the brand and they don't buy at retail. You know, it's not that if you love Patek, you have to buy at retail. There are people that admire the brand, want to get into the brand, love the brand, would love to be a collector of many pieces of multiple collections, and they choose to buy a piece or two or whatever in secondary. And those people shouldn't necessarily be treated so different. Their loyalty shouldn't be questioned. You know, and it's you're creating a divide that doesn't need to be there, you know, between Patek lovers, and the economics are becoming more and more difficult. Yeah, ZD, welcome. What have you thought so far? Your reaction to the sticker shock of these significant price increases?
I think it's like really sad, truthfully, more than anything. Like as someone who like loves the brand and like would love to own more of them, and I bought mine. I own one. I own a 5226, and I bought it from my local AD. And I had dreams of continuing to do that, with no real goal in mind, just sort of like buying watches that I really kind of liked from them. It becomes very hard to conceive of doing that when you see where the prices have gone. The watch that I own was $10,000 less, basically 11 months ago. And that's before tax. So it's actually, yeah, I mean, it's just it's crazy. It really is crazy, and I think it comes from, and I understand tariffs and I understand the price of gold and all these things, but when you continuously raise prices year over year, um, because that is what the market is allowing you to do, then when you get to this moment of real necessity, which let's assume they are in, it makes these things become untenable. And, if you are someone who makes a really nice living of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but you're not a multimillionaire or a centimillionaire, and you choose, you know, are you, and you live in a high tax state, where whatever you make is ostensibly cut in half, like, are you gonna, if you make $500,000 in New York or $500,000 in California and you walk away with 260, are you now putting, $50,000 of that into a watch? Um,
Yeah,
more than once, every 5 years. I mean, I just don't know how it sustains. I mean, I wrote on our WhatsApp that I think that, over the next decade, this brand is going to cleave, a significant portion of their catalog, because I just don't think that, the things that have gone on over the last half decade that have helped support the Patek catalog, which is the drive to get a Nautilus or an Aquanaut to buy all these things that then perhaps smarter consumers then choose to purchase in the secondary market for 30-40% less. I just don't think those things are going to sell in the way they did. So you're just going to have a tremendous amount of things that are collecting dust in these ADs. I think
You said
Patek will be better off cutting down and going more nuanced in a way, like some other brands, getting rid of all the fluff.
you said something very interesting, buying a watch every 5 years. We lived in a world where people were buying 2 to 3 Pateks a year. And
Totally.
I have to wonder if they got used to that, if that's the data set that they have taken that justifies these increases, that, oh, well, it's fine because we sell our watches, hand over fist. It's not a problem. But they don't understand that we're now living in a world where people are buying 1 or 2 pieces a year from all brands, if that.
I
I
wrote
wish it
this
was
on
my
our
wonder
on our
pieces
what
a year.
I wrote this on our WhatsApp, which I didn't end up sending it, but it was we were talking about like spending $100,000 a year on Paddock, and I wrote, do you really think that like it depends why you're buying these watches. Like, what do you want out of this relationship with an AD? Because if you think that you're going to spend 40K on a 6119 and then the next year spend 47K on a 5212 if you can get it, and then in your third year spend 78K on a 5935, which by the way, by the time in 2029, when you buy the 5935, it'll actually be $91,000 based on these raises, is actually going to move the needle for them over 3 years. It's just not, you know, it's like Las Vegas, Las Vegas, like these casinos, like what matters the most to them is like the whales. So, and
Yes.
there are great collectors that are rich beyond my wildest dreams that can like really come to a brand and sort of just like start to go. And but if you think that like, oh, I'm going to buy one watch a year or one watch every 18 months, which like feels terrific and very appropriate, and like maybe you're even moving things around in your own collection to be able to sort of afford some of these bigger pieces. Like if you think that that's going to like get you an Aquanaut, if you care about that, it is not. There's just no way. So then what do you want? You want your name on the papers? Fabulous. I respect it. I did too. That's why I bought from them. But like, there is not like, they're not going to invite you to an event, like they don't care that you spent 78
That's
grand. I mean,
that's
that's,
what I
and
was
but that,
saying. Yeah,
and
it's like
that's me just riffing here with no, I don't know, not friends with an AD. I don't have an inside essay. I just like think of human nature and retail and like what they
what,
care about. And that's not it.
a 5320. I believe that's the perpetual, right? The salmon dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
See,
$125,000.
yeah. So it's 135 out the door. You can buy it on Chrono for 61. You mean to tell me? I understand papers are important, but is it 90,000? Is the 2 hours you're going to spend at the AD drinking your Macallan and smiling and hey, is that worth $90,000?
I have to say
If it is, like,
I've had one experience inside of Patek AD. It was great. I walked out of that and thought to myself, I feel no different because I did it with them than I would have had I probably dealt with someone at European Watch Co. Like I didn't feel like, I don't know, I wasn't like getting massages and like being like, oh, here's like three stock tips that like are gonna like there was nothing. There was
Hmm.
nothing. It was great. It was
right.
awesome and I'm happy I did it. But like what are we really talking about here is like so much money. And I just like what we've gotten to this place in consumerism where everything has gone up so much, and really what's moving the market are or what kind of like helps the market for these companies to be able to do this is like they rather sell you a keychain, like nice guy, like working, a 9 to 7 job, killing himself with a wife and 2 kids, making like mid six figures. They'll sell you a keychain, but they're going to sell like the, guy with $30 million or $100 million, a billionaire. Like they're the ones that are like buying the eight, 10, 9, $10,000 suits, and they're buying 20 of them. Like that's what matters. And those are the levels, and you see it like at these like high-end luxury brands. Like they have, go to Hermes, like you can get an Hermes keychain, like cool, like that's great. You own something from Hermes, but like you're never getting their Birkins,
You
you're
know
never
what
getting
though?
their Kellys.
So so not too long ago we lived in a world, call it 10, 12 years ago, where I was in Atlanta looking into me for a ring for my now wife. They had Nautilus and they had Aquanaut stamped available. You mean to tell me that there were no whales back then? Sure, there were. I think there were far fewer. And who's to say that these whales don't go away again?
Well,
It's
Well,
like I understand there's whales out there, but the catalog is limited. Patek
yeah.
every year they have new releases, sure, but for each whale, maybe one or two are really what they want. And are these whales when you have a guy that's his first dress piece was a Grand Seiko, and then he asks for a 5172? When that guy turns down the 5172, the whale already has that watch. He's not going to buy it. So like they're going to come to a point where even the whales are going to go, I'm not buying it, not because I don't love it, it's because I already have it.
Yeah.
There's not enough in Patek's catalog
I,
to sustain the whales, even if they have the appetite.
I've I've talked about it on this channel. A friend of mine went to like a very high-end Patek event that he was invited to as the guest of like an important Patek collector. And he was like, the fucking clientele is like half dead. Like he was like staggered, like as a guy in his mid 40s, he was like woefully shocked by like the type of consumer that is invited to like a high-end, event. He thought like everybody felt like they were like on their last legs. And so, obviously the brand's not going to go anywhere, but I do think that, you are going to go through, you as a collector, the royal you, me, I'll speak about, you get through the Calatrava and the complication um, uh, catalog like in 4 or 5 watches, and the next thing you know, and this is in 2025, who knows what it'd be in 2031, like to your point, like I started looking through the complications, the grand complications, like you're not getting into one of those for under $125,000. That's nuts. And I get it. It's an OC will tell me like maybe they don't care. Like I'm poor. That's great, totally. But I do think when you think about sustainability of the brand, and trying to attract new and interesting people, like
It's exasperating because
yeah,
because you don't want to hear that you're not in the top 1% of the customers that they're trying to attract. It's not a good feeling. It's like, what? Listen, we're going after the upper 4%, and you know what? We've decided, we'll go after the upper 2% instead. We only need the top 2% of all luxury customers. The rest of you can go do something else. It's a very off-putting tone, uh, but at the same time, there are people like people were making fun of me earlier. It's like, OC wanders into the AD with his Skechers and T-shirt or whatever. He's not a Patek
Disgusting
customer.
comments. Disgusting comments.
But there are people who shouldn't be Patek collect, just like there aren't people who should be Richard Mille customers, right? Like if you drive a Toyota Camry, Richard Mille should not be selling you watches. Is that an arbitrary thing to do? But you don't have a fucking AMG or a 911 RS or a Ferrari, maybe you should be further down on the pecking order for Richard Mille. It's just a
And
reality. But Patek is doing that. They're doing it in a way that is off-putting to a generation of customers
yeah,
that like the COVID generation that genuinely wants to buy. Like this piece right here. This was a little bit criticized when it came out. They called it the asphalt dial, lovingly, affectionately. It's just a time and date only watch. People looked at it and go, oh, well, I'm not paying 35,000 for this. But you know what? It's white gold. You could put a variety of straps on it. Lo and behold, it's a few years later. It's $51,000, and I think they're not going to. I mean, do they go for a lot less in secondary? Sure, but I think this is the kind of watch they'll continue to sell to people starting the journey if they make the journey attractive and exciting. And that leads to another point that I wanted to bring up, and that is, it's kind of an open question for the panel and the chat. What could Patek do to make the journey more encouraging people? And I had a crazy fucking idea. What if they made more 5167s? Just make 4 or 5,000 more of them and reward people who bought 2 watches and offer them a fucking Aquanaut. The word would travel like wildfire. The word would spread throughout the watch community. You know what? More and more people are getting
OC.
Aquanauts. Aquanauts is their
That
third watch. Holy
that is
shit.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous because Patek Philippe, they don't even like those watches, yet they still make them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they want to have this like, oh, we don't really care about our sports pieces. They're just there, whatever. Don't pay any attention to those. But why do they keep them? They keep them because it keeps the dress watches selling, and they know it.
the funny thing is a 5167 costs $58,000. So you're being rewarded with a
I
$60,000
know,
watch
but
on
you
a yeah,
imagine if you, but there are a lot of collectors. If they're
yeah,
2 pieces in, they got offered a
totally.
5167, 5164, whatever. They go,
Yeah,
holy shit, I'm getting offered that. The word would
I'm
yeah,
spread like
VIP.
wildfire.
I'm
yeah.
VIP.
I do think that if like I think that if I want a 5212, right? That's what I've been waiting on. And if they called me and said, we want to offer you that, and by the way, that's a watch that like every AD for the most part will tell you is not an easy one to get. They don't tend to see a ton of them. um, it's steel. If they called me and said, we would like to offer you this, and then we'd actually like to offer you, 5167 in steel, I would find that compelling, and that would probably, that would interest me for sure. But if they're calling and saying, okay, cool, like we want to offer you, some complication that's a $75,000 watch and a 50, and you have to spend $100,000 now, not now, but you're gonna, it's gonna cost you 100 grand. It's a crazy amount of, it's so much money. And I think part of it is that you are right. Like there are certain people that, first of all, for everyone who's on here, like the neo vintage, like Patek market is like incredible, right? Like if you look at like, collectability or some of the more reputable, people in the gray market space or the secondary space, like you can do unbelievable, especially in the dress world for, annual calendars, all these things, you can kill it. And that's on things, that are 20 years ago. If you would go there, and I looked at all that stuff like daily just for my own kind of interest. But, if the kind of issue here is that like if you feel like you're doing great in life, and the 1% in this country, the amount has gone up, but it's sort of like a $750,000 income, which is a lot of money for people to make. And oftentimes those people, they are all over the country, but there's often an index of them in major metropolitan cities where you are taxed heavily. And so you're crushed, like what are you putting your money towards? That to me is the thing that's the most, it goes into a larger conversation, which I won't get into because it's probably too political, just sort of like how, you know, everything is just sort of built around the like really the it's like the ultra high net worth now, and then everyone else is sort of just like, even if you feel like you're doing great in a city, there's all these articles written about people making $400,000 living paycheck to paycheck in New York City. You're like,
Mhm.
how is that possible? Well, they have two kids, private school, they half of their income went to taxes, all this sort of stuff. You're like, when you're not buying a watch, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, and there. Let's look at this watch here. This is the Asphalt annual calendar travel time. People in the community love this watch. They would absolutely enjoy having this in their collection. It's the reference 5326 G. It's white gold. How much do you think this is? I mean, we
100
know
grand.
Patek. We know Patek's expensive, right? We get it. We get it. But um, when you scroll down and you look at the price, and you actually see that this watch is $100,000, and it's not just 100,000; it's 100,721.
Yep.
The fuckers, these fuckers had to add 721. It wasn't isn't 100,500. It isn't 100,000 even. It's 100,721. Fire the fucking pricing team. It's a
You know
fucking
what?
outrage.
They should have ended every one of the new prices with 69.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
or a 107 to 7 FU or whatever. But
Yeah.
in the
I'm going to disagree with you on one piece, OC. It's like, yeah, telling somebody that their third piece is going to be a 5167 is really great for a significant portion of the Patek buyer pool. And that's all well and good. But there really, for, historically have been two pathways in Patek. You would start out with a Calatrava. If you fall down the rabbit hole into the brand, you're either going down the sports watch route eventually, or you fall in love with the complications route, and then you're going towards the 5270 and grant comps and perpetual calendars that are on the dress side. That happens to be more my personal style. I mean, the watches that I own from the brand have been like the 5524 travel time, have been gondolas, have been Calatravas, have been, the annual calendars, things of that nature. The sports watches have always been sort of secondary desire for me. I wouldn't kick one out of bed, but it's not something that I'm willing to pay, a nickel over retail for.
Hmm.
My opinion still is what they need is they need a $25,000 watch. The 6007, which if I remember right from the press when the 6007 came out, that like that was designed in part by Terry Stern's kids, the next generation that's going to come
Right.
and shit
The
all over the
AutoZone.
conservatives. Yeah, the AutoZone. I happen to think that's a beautiful watch. I like all the colors. I like the pattern on the center of the dial. I know they're not popular watches. If that was a $25,000 watch, and that was your first Patek as a younger professional that's reached a certain stage, I think that would be a hit of a watch at 25 grand. It's precious metal, it's Patek, it's the Calatrava case, it's everything that is quintessentially Patek, except that it has the more modern colors and the AutoZone type dial.
Yep.
You need the $25,000 watch. If you could tell me that, yeah, fine, the 5167 will be my third watch after I spend $100,000 on other watches, two other watches, I'm still not, thinking I'm going to go down that path, short of, making $1 million a year salary. I mean, I've owned 6 or 7 Pateks at different times. And it just doesn't, I think the total amount that I've spent on all of them together is probably less than the purchase history I would need to even be offered an Aquanaut.
All right. So we're making headway because this is in a way we're serving like as a global workshop for what Patek could do to appease and reward and inspire collectors, right? Like right now, collectors are a little bit disenfranchised. They're like, holy shit, like why? Do I continue this journey or do I go look at other brands? And so one of the things that one of your ideas is, listen, hey, you need to have something that reasonable to get some people into the brand. You can't have the entry level, which is something like this. Now this is precious metal, not steel. Ironically, the cheapest watches, the most affordable watches, are the hardest to get, like the steel Aquanauts and the travel time Aquanauts that are, 25,000, 40,000, whatever. These AutoZones are now 48,511.
That's insane.
I mean, and these were super hot at the absolute beginning and then cooled off quickly. And then I mean, dealers wouldn't even buy these for like $30,000.
You can
Some of
get
them,
these all day long for 25, 26, 27,000, depending on the
Yeah.
color. And OC, you used a great word. How does the brand inspire collectors? And that is so key. If you've fallen down the rabbit hole and you appreciate the history, the only reason that you give a crap about any of these brands is there's something about it that inspires you, something that makes you want to spend your time learning about the brand, appreciating the brand, learning about, oh, well, they had the Geneva seal until 2008, and then they put a silicone hairspring in, so they created the Patek seal.
I think about that all the
this
time.
crap.
You have no
Well,
idea.
but I mean, the fact is, collectors start learning that ridiculous crap. I guess for me, it was like I went from baseball statistics being 80% of my brain to watch statistics and watch knowledge. Equally useless, but because I'm sort of inspired by certain brands and love the history.
Yeah.
But you don't feel welcomed in to start with. Why would anybody want to go down?
Is there Patek? Is there a Patek at retail that's even attractive to you right now?
Honestly, at retail, not really.
That's a shame,
mean,
right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have an Aquanaut at some point in my life because I live in Florida and it's the surface temperature of the sun, so a rubber strap is something I enjoy wearing on my watches, but not for $60,000 because the one that I like the best is the white gold.
Well, it's hard because we are all like living through this like dramatic increase like in real time. So you're sort of just like, oh, well, like, am I so excited to buy anything at retail? I knew like 11 months ago it was $10,000 cheaper, you know? So it's like, this 6007, like if you go to bezel, like all colors, like the average for a brand new unworn is like 35. I was looking at them, to your point, previously, like probably like 8 months ago, um, and you were able to get them in the high 20s. I can't imagine like that those things don't sit in the mid 30s, and then you go and make a deal, maybe right above, you know, 30, and walk away with it, because these things are just going to sit. But even at 35, you're like, okay, cool. Like I'm, if you live in New York, I mean, you're paying, $52,000 or whatever it is, 53 grand for this watch. You're like, I just saved $18,000 on a watch,
Yeah,
Um,
and
the
that's
real
if you're
question
a
is,
collector, is that's another one watch or two watches
the real
just in savings.
thing that I'm interested in is, like, we've seen so much stuff come to the secondary market because so many people were chasing these sports models, that then they went and bought all these things and then dumped them in the secondary. If you don't have any realistic path to getting the sports models, or even if you are not interested in the sports models, you're just priced out of these things in general, like how quickly, for certain things does, at one point, the 5212, there was like so many available in the US in the secondary market. Does that stop, because you just don't have people, you know buying them and moving them to keep kind of the rotation going, to get themselves up the list for an Aquanaut or a Nautilus or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, let's try to keep the conversation productive and constructive. Let's try to think of ideas like, now that this has taken place, these price increases are in effect. What should Patek now do to uh, to not piss off collectors, to kind of re-engage and incentivize collectors to come back into uh, back to the table and support the brand and buy pieces. My idea was kind of simple. It's like, hey, you know what? Don't announce it. Don't announce to people that you're going to give people Aquanauts as their third watch. Just randomly do it and create um, this vibe out there, this undercurrent, this kind of these rumors circulating. Like, holy shit! You know what? So and so got offered out of the blue an Aquanaut at his third watch. All you do is you start doing that randomly across the United States or in different places around the world, and it'll create it'll create a frenzy of energy for people coming in and thinking, hey, I could be one of those. Maybe I'll buy my second piece.
I think that's what's happened at my AD, because I know people that got the Nautilus as their second piece within a year. People that got Aquanauts as their second piece within a year. So, and they keep selling for the most part, right? So I think that strategy does work. But
It'll be interesting to see if they end up bringing out a smaller Cubitus in steel, and where they price that down. Well, we could talk about how we feel about that watch, and if people like that watch, that's like a debate for another day. But like, that is their new line. There was a conversation about it, like sort of being their entry sports piece for a period of time. Obviously, like, it's, it started in steel in the bigger size. They put out these precious metals in the smaller size, which, they're it's 50 grand for the bigger steel with the green dial. If they It'll be interesting to see how they price those when they eventually do a smaller one in steel. um, the white gold small one now is
I think
$92,000.
the sports pieces are still highly desirable pieces,
Yeah.
and ads, as much as Patek says, hey, I mean, Patek never said that was a misnomer that they were going to be offered as first time pieces to new younger customers. We got that wrong. We
Mm.
somehow misinterpreted something. They never intended it to be a first time piece for younger. I mean, maybe some of the marketing is it's a younger guy, but the ads still say this is a reward for customers who are loyal Patek customers. To two really good ideas in the chat. Two good things that Patek can do. Number one, serve more alcohol. That's right. When you go into the AD, make sure they should be offering better drinks. Get the customers drunk. And of course, MJ with an actual good idea, cut production. Guys, you don't have to make 70,000 watches. Go through the watches that don't sell very well and actually don't make as many of them.
Yeah,
How about that as a novel concept?
They
totally.
have a
Yeah.
significant amount of ladies, Nautilus, and Aquanauts that could be transitioned to the men's. There's a lot of them. Just take a look. There's like 20 different variations. They don't need 20.
Yeah.
I read,
So
I was on another chat and I read some person wrote a whole long WhatsApp just about their experience with this brand called Crayon, I think it's pronounced, which OC probably doesn't recognize as a watch company. But like he bought this watch secondhand. He thought the winding mechanism needed a little work. Anyway, the service that this guy got was so exceptional that he decided to just like write something about it to like 300 people on a WhatsApp, just like how unbelievable it was, and like I just like have to say it to people. Like this was incredible. I don't know, like that's really what it comes down to. I mean, obviously, like all these other things like connectivity to, you know, um, you know, getting opportunities for pieces you might not get or whatever, like those are all really important. But I think a lot of it is like how these things make you feel, right? And I think for a lot of people now, like this brand probably they're at odds with how it makes them feel. At least I'll speak for myself. That's how it's making me feel at the moment. And so they have to get back to that, and then that, that chat turned into something about Roman Gautier and their level of service, and
mhm.
these people are incredible, and ownership experience and all that sort of stuff. Like that is probably also part of it. And I don't know exactly what you do or how a lot of those independents, you actually have direct connectivity to the brand as opposed to Patek, who you're kind of going through their network of ADs. But I think that's a real part of it as well. I mean, I've always said on here when I've talked about Journe, which I don't own, just like you really feel like welcomed and you feel connected even when you're probably never going to get a watch in the distant future, and so I think that's probably something that they have to focus on. There's other like kind of things you can do, the tips and tricks of making people like get pieces, but it's about the story and the brand, and I mean otherwise there is nothing. So how do you connect to it?
Patek should do away with all steel watches, says Boston Collector. What do you think of this strategy? That would reset the market and then bring back steel as a limited run at $100,000. What do you think of this idea as a way to rejuvenate the Patek journey? Anyone a fan of killing steel watches?
Terrible idea.
I mean, but for me, it's not about the steel watches. It's sort of just about. I mean, I'm not. I would love one, but I'm not. That was not why I started with them. For me, it's sort of just about like, you know, the price expenditure on a lot of the watches that I'm excited about, and weighing the value of getting it from the AD versus getting it from the secondary market. And so it doesn't matter.
Here's Vimal with an idea. Cut production, which was also MJ's sentiment, and control the sales channels better. Each city needs only one point of sale. Make it more exclusive. Go the FP Journe route so collectors don't care about the price and they feel they got lucky. Okay. Thank you, Vimal. Appreciate that. And then you also have Boston Collector. Incredible service is something you are born into at Patek. They refuse to recognize new money or people looking for an experience. $100,000, not just 100,000, 721 for the Asphalt Dial annual calendar travel time. It's crazy. What have we gotten ourselves into, guys?
$67,000. It was on a channel I was put on for 2025, lightly worn, available
It's a
in August.
big discrepancy. Look,
big discrepancy.
Yeah,
here's-
I don't care how much you make unless you're a cent.
I think we lost you, Ghost. Boston Collectors here. He says an extreme distribution idea. Patek should close all their authorized dealers in the United States except for one in New York, one in Miami, and one in Los Angeles. Then have monthly watch appetizers and drinks, maybe in the first Monday. They could send an email for allocations. Okay, thank you. He's trying to create like an FB Journe style experience for Patek, but much more exclusive. Got Jeff in the chat. Sounds good to me, Boston. What's up, Jeff? And also I got John D in the chat. What is the price of this model back in March? This model was probably around $80,000. Around $80,000 for this 5326 back in March. They've had two price increases since then. One in the middle of the year and one today. Today is the official day, official price hike day for Patek Philippe. Price increases going way, way up for U.S. customers. If you just joined us, it's the original OC channel, Smartwatch Talk for the Smart Collector. We were the first to publicize last week that Patek Philippe would be raising prices. We were the first with the price list, and now we are here confirming that price increases have gone into effect in the United States. All the prices are reflected on Patek.com. Any other references you think you want to pull up that you think are interesting to highlight, either because they're absurdly expensive or they could represent a bargain in today's market? I'll give an opportunity.
You pulled up the 6159 yet?
Yeah, I'll pull up the 6159. Let me just drop the link in the chat if you want to. If anyone's out there that wants to join the panel, you don't have to own a Patek to join the panel. It's not a prerequisite, but
it's good if you do.
It's kind of good. It's kind of good. Listen, we're kind of elitist here. We want to make sure you're a Patek owner first. 6159 is the new. It's the white gold, sapphire crystal, retrograde perpetual calendar. Absolutely stunning watch. One of the new releases of 2025. Here it is in white gold with the double hobnail bezel. There's the white gold Calatrava cross clasp there, retrograde date, perpetual calendar, sapphire crystal dial. Everyone loves it. Now, what do you think this costs now? What do you think this costs?
128.
Let's check it out. Let's scroll down and reveal the price. $142,260.
I'm looking forward to buying this $75,000 watch at some point in the next 2.5 years.
In secondary, does it go up? Does it go up 10,000 just because the retail price went up? Does that psychology work?
Probably. But
yeah,
I mean, this is
one
brand.
is selling at a premium.
This is a brand new watch. So I saw someone today posted 5327 on their Instagram dealer, and he wrote current price 132,000, my price 65, and this is like a very reputable person, and so like I don't know, if he was at 58 yesterday and now he's at 65, and you really want that that grand complication, you still feel like, wow, I've done unbelievable, I've cut it in half.
Yeah, there's definitely, they need to be careful about making the secondary channel the preferred channel to which to go to buy pieces. Don't you want to encourage people to come to the retailers? Don't you want to encourage people to come, not necessarily for the experience, but to to buy from the authorized dealer, where we have other watches, we have jewelry, we have other brands. I mean, should they be enticing you to come in there?
But once again, the secondary channel only works if there's enough watches to occupy the secondary channel. And if you're charging $142,000 for that watch 2 years from now, and when the market's softened because it's no longer a brand new watch, and people aren't buying them at a clip where, I mean, obviously they're not making 20,000 of these, but people are not buying them in a real way, then they won't exist in the secondary market, which sort of goes to the sort of cut production whole thing, and make
Yeah.
them more exclusive.
Let me ask you this, Gambino, because you're kind of a steward of the process. As what Patek is doing, isn't it? Aren't they kind of creating like a 2-year buffer between them and the grays by creating this? I mean, they could always, these dealers in the past, in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, they would bundle to the grays. They'd say, okay, listen, we'll give you these 2 hot watches, we got to take these 6 dogs, these ladies watches or gem encrusted pieces or whatever. We all know the Rolex ADs did this for decades and decades, the bundling. Haven't what they created now just become bundling, but for customers? And they basically said, listen, you have to buy this, this, and this, your soft pieces, and then you get a good one, but don't sell the soft ones right away. Just hold on to them for a couple of years, and we'll kind of look the other way if you sell it after 2 years or 3 years. Isn't all they're doing? It's bundling, but they've created like a different path, so it looks like their sell through is 100% to customers.
Yeah, I mean it's a great way of thinking about it, and I think you're right. Um, I also do think that the pieces, other than let's say the 20, like the 6159, since it's a 2025 piece, but every I'm I'm going to say it because I already got crap for it. Every Patek that I have purchased for no more than 55 to 60% of its retail price, and every single one of them was 2019 through 2024. So, you know, even if you tell people hold it for 2 years, hold it for 3 years, and then we won't really care, they don't really care now. It's not AP, uh, who apparently does care if you sell your code, at some point within the first 3 years.
Mhm.
Tech doesn't care if you're selling your non-allocation pieces, within a few months of walking out the door. But it is just a slow roll for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And I personally think that everything they're doing right now, that the gray dealers are going to continue with the pricing that they have at the discounted rates or discounted percentages that they're using right now for all these, non-hype pieces. And it's just going to be a continuing snowball effect of lower prices for the Calatravas and some of the complications. And obviously I'm taking out of these things like the hyper complications, because those sell for ridiculous amounts of money. And you don't really see a 6303 on the gray. Maybe one or two of them. Like those things will always sell for full price. You'll have a legitimate 100% sell through rate on those things.
Yeah.
But the
You
rest of
say
it, it's all fake.
you say with certainty that Patek doesn't care if the watches get sold within the first 2 years?
Well, let's put it like this. Most multi-brand ADs that I've dealt with over my collecting time in the last 6, 7 years, I've never seen them with anybody else, you know, or hear about, colleagues that have gotten blackballed from the brand because they bought a Calatrava and then 6 months later decided to sell it. Are the boutiques the same way? I don't know. There's obviously a different mentality between the boutiques and the multi-brand ADs. Because the boutiques don't. I was at one this weekend. The boutiques don't have jewelry for you to buy. They don't have other things for you to buy. They don't. It's not like there's a Hublot section in the corner of a Patek AD. where they'll send you over there to go buy 6 Hublots before you're allowed to get your first Patek. All they sell are Pateks, and maybe it's a different mentality there, but the multi-brands, I don't think any of them, or at least any of the ones I've ever dealt with, have ever cared.
I may be naive here, but I think with the advent of the way so many of these gray dealers sell stuff now, um, I think to like bust someone for unloading a 6119 is like impossible. Like yeah, there are pieces that like will stand out, if they're hitting the gray market because they make 5 of them a year. But when you talk about AP, it's like, well, John Mayer comes out with his perpetual calendar. There were like 5 of those available at one time. They only made 250 of them. They probably hadn't sold through the entire allotment yet. And like you could buy one. And so like that's a brand who controls their retailers, knows exactly who's getting what. And like even that went to the gray market, like quickly. And so I sort of feel like some of this stuff is overblown in a lot of ways, but I really think that when you get into like the cheaper complications, some of the cheaper world timers and all the Calatravas, like no one's paying attention. And that may be completely wrong, and I hope someone tells me that they know for certain and cool, but like just like how are you gonna know? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Because
short of it being Longa or AP or Journe, I just don't think anybody cares. Those are the ones I know for a fact care.
right.
I've just never heard
This
of
pe-
anybody getting blackballed unless you're selling it literally. You got a Daytona and you have it sold before you leave the store. Fine, you're going to get screwed for that. But as a whole brand, just those 3.
I picked a random 24. This is a full gold one. This is the reference 6300. Has diamonds on the bezel. 65,000. It's not 65,000 even. It's not 65,250. It's 65,290. It's not 65,295. It's 65,298. Those fuckers. And who's buying this watch? Who is buying this at 65,000? I can see them. Why wouldn't it hurt for them to tell somebody, hey, you know what? We got this great watch here. By the way, I want to let you know that you're the kind of customer that we know, we know you've been interested in the Nautilus, you've been interested in this particular Aquanaut or whatever. And let you know that, hey, customers do get rewarded here. If you've been really loyal to us, and if you like this piece, your wife likes this, we'll take care of you. I mean,
I have no problem with that. That's the reality of what happens now. I'd rather it be transparent.
yeah. The problem is,
And then I can make my decision.
Yeah, if they want you to hold this, it creates this huge carrying cost of $200,000 or $300,000 in Patek that you have sitting there, that's not appreciating, and it's not being invested, not being used for other things, and you're using that. There's opportunity cost there if you're buying 2 or 3 watches that you don't want and you're having to sit on them. But if you're saying you could buy this and move it right away and they won't care, and you take your lumps in order to get in good with the AD, then hey, the game is alive and well then.
The best deal at Patek right now, if you're willing to go down to a size that some people would never consider, 36 millimeter, is that 7340 perpetual, all gold. It's 145 grand. I mean, you're doing better for an all gold watch than you are on the last watch we were talking about, the new one from this year.
Let's take a look at that. That is this watch right here, the 7340 perpetual calendar.
They got a giant piece of marketing boost because Lionel Messi wore this watch recently. This is like a section of the catalog that most people don't click on. I was like, that's a pretty good looking watch.
Says you. I'm not sure how many people would agree with you.
Fair enough.
This is the reference 7340, $145,106. Yep.
What you can get at
Oh,
Vacheron
man.
for half that amount of money is just impressive to me by comparison.
Wait till
Yep.
they raise their prices, though.
Yeah, Diego says, by the way, you can't do that because OC, because they'll then have hundreds of people fighting over those 20 pieces. I get it, but you know what? Better to have the word spread that some people got an Aquanaut as their third watch, and all they bought was a Calatrava and a complication, rather than none of those people getting it. Right? If you want to create some hype, you want to create some interest, you want to put it out there like, hey, you know what? Miracles do happen. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you. If just throw that, create 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 instances where someone gets an Aquanaut as a second watch or a third watch, and let the feeding fucking frenzy begin. It doesn't
Well,
matter if there are
Brian,
hundreds that are still waiting, right?
yeah, Brian the Pipe unboxed his first new Patek that he got from an authorized dealer. He unboxed it on the Watch Hangout. His first Patek from the AD was a 5167 1A. Aquanaut on the bracelet. And he also got some rubber straps, I think, as well with it.
There's some special circumstances there, so that doesn't
Well,
necessarily apply. But for the record, he unboxed it on my channel first. But let's
okay.
let's talk about the
Sorry.
Nautilus. Let's talk about the Nautilus, because even the Nautilus, which is the holy grail of sports pieces or integrated bracelet watches from Patek, even these, when you get the call, you have to make sure that your mortgage papers are in line. You got to make sure that everything is up to date. You got liquidity, because here is just the basic Aquanaut 5811, and the
100
5811 is
grand. Oh, Jesus Christ.
89,767. Guys, this is the bare bones Nautilus in the lineup. It's 50. The 5811 is $89,000. What the hell is going on? I mean, then again, does it make sense to just go gray to get this piece? It's 150,000 in secondary. Maybe just go secondary.
Or
I don't
maybe
know.
don't spend $150,000 on a watch and find something else.
That's a good point. Maybe it's stupid to spend 150,000 on a watch. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. We've got the beautiful 5712. Now, I'm not a big fan of this dial layout, the moon phase version, moon phase movement, but look at that great micro rotor. A lot of people love this watch. It's no longer available in stainless steel. Stainless steel has been discontinued. So if you love this watch, you got to get it in full rose gold. But the only issue is you have to pony up. Guess. You have to pony up $106,000, which actually isn't that bad, because these go for, like, in new unworn condition in secondary, they go for over 200,000. Who's paying over $200,000 for this watch in secondary?
Guys
Yeah,
heavy in Bitcoin.
I've seen these going, between 200 and 225 for sure. Crazy prices. And then we have the 5980. This is in white gold. This is the chronograph. What's the price on this thing? This isn't even a full white gold bracelet. $98,000, and it's on a strap. 98,000 on a strap. Wow.
It's painful.
And then the creme de la creme of the Patek Philippe Nautilus line is the flyback chronograph, travel time in full rose gold. Oh, man. $152,000. $152,000.
I'm gonna commit to the small watch movement and get my and focus on getting a 7118 for 39 grand.
The best thing you can do, Boston Collector says, is forget about Patek Philippe altogether and enjoy the AP journey and relax. We all know that it's very difficult to pick out your own watches. Let the experts at AP guide you and just pull out the Amex. Well, listen, breaking news at this hour, what we revealed last week exclusively on this channel, that Patek Philippe was going to be raising prices. We actually had the price list before anybody else and made it available to you guys. It has come to fruition. September 15th is here, and prices in the United States are up a whopping 15%. We've talked about well, we've gone kind of full, all round robin around all of these watches. Vamal in the chat says 63OP, 6301P. Let's take a look. 6301P. Which one is that one? That one. Oh,
It's
yeah.
gotta be it's probably a minute repeater tourbillon.
Yeah, it's a minute repeater in platinum. Minute repeater with the Grande and Petite Sonnerie. Do they even have the price listed here? This is a gorgeous piece. Absolutely gorgeous.
If you scroll down, it probably just says "you're too poor" next to it.
You are fucking poor. 1,707,000.
I am too poor for this piece.
Absolutely stunning. What was it before the price increase? 1.5 million, and now it's 1.7 million.
Well, I was thinking about it before the price increase, but now.
Yeah. Listen, if you could afford 1.5, you can afford 1.7, as MJ might say.
Yeah, that's actually a really true statement. When you're getting to this level of piece,
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, this is not
it's all relative though. Like I mean, I might want one of those $70,000 Nautiluses, but now it's 90,000. Would I rather spend 70? Yeah. I mean, could I afford to spend the extra 20? Yeah, but why should I? Like, where's that extra 20 going? What value am I getting for that? It's just
it's going into the back pocket of Terry Stern's white jeans.
It's rough. It's hard to come to terms with this, especially with the way that Patek rolled out the price increases. I talked earlier in the show about I'm not a fan of how they did the same percentage across the entire lineup. I don't like that they didn't increase prices in other geographies, even by a token few percent, to show that it was global. I don't like that they ended the prices with these fucking stupid numbers, 610 and 512 and it's insulting. And there's a lot of things. I don't like how they rolled it out on the 15th of the month. I think they could have waited until they had some product introductions, or waited till the first of a month. Doing it at the 15th just makes no sense. It makes it look like a cash grab. And for all those reasons, I think they did it poorly, but they did it nonetheless, and they're sticking it to the U.S. consumer. They're giving us the big FU.
Yeah, I mean, we're rightly frustrated by something that is happening to a degree because it is out of our hands, and so they don't have to make us feel good. They didn't theoretically ask for it. They're not doing any. They've been kind of been gouging by the additional price raises that have gone on multiple times a year over the past few years. But in this moment, they're making a decision. To your question about the 1,400,000 to the 1,700,000, there was that funny thing when Jeff Bezos got married that he spent like $50 million on his wedding, which is like essentially like the equivalent of like him spending $200 on his wedding, based on his net worth. So obviously, you do achieve a certain level of wealth, and that is not often where like none of it matters.
Listen, guys, I want to thank I want to thank Diego and ZD and Ghost of Guilloche Gambino for being on the panel. Final thoughts, guys? You want to keep going? Or
Final
ready to wrap it
thought,
Yeah.
does Patek stay on the approved brand list?
Yes, it does.
post-
Yes, it does. It does because I'm personally on the journey. I'm personally 2 watches deep with Patek Philippe, and I will buy more. I'll buy more. And huge shout out to my Patek Philippe retailer. I am proud to be their customer, and I'm Team Terry. I think this does, although it was rolled out in a dubious way, I think they are Patek Philippe. They are the top of the heap, the cream of the crop, and this does in a perverted, strange, ironic way reinforce the fact that they are the ultra premium brand, the ultra premium luxury brand in the Swiss timepiece market. So if you want the best, you got to pay more. That's just how it goes. Vimal's Flamingo Blue highlighted comment from Canada, the 5236. Let's take a look at it. All right, let's do a quick search. 5236P. Let's see here. Oh, I love this one. This was the inline calendar. Let's take a look at it in the new salmon variety introduced. I appreciate the highlighted comment, Vimal. Thank you. I'm happy to pull it up. The inline calendar in the new salmon. How much do you think this is? I remember when this was $100,000, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite watches, especially in the blue, the inline calendar. It is now what? Are you kidding me? Maybe I had it wrong. Maybe it was 140, but now it's $170,000. $170,000. Ouch.
The collection of complicated Pateks that you can get on the secondary market for that price, you could probably walk away with a amazing 4, maybe even 5 Pateks for that same price.
Wow. Let's see here. Let's keep going.
That's wild.
Type in your references in the chat. We'll pull them up. We have new prices, guys. New prices. We'll pull them up. If it's a model in the catalog, in the current catalog, we'll pull it up on the website.
You want to check the 5204?
50. Yeah, happy to pull it up. Hold on a second. 5204. 5204. That's white gold. Let's check it out. So there is a 5204G. Oh, which is just, this is a crazy complication, huh? Split second chronograph combined with, look at the back. Oh my God. Combined with a perpetual calendar. Now these, I remember that they were like 210, I think. And I talked to a lot of people at Watches and Wonders in Geneva, bought this watch for 210, and we're having trouble selling it for 140 in secondary. Now the watch is what? Maybe this is a different model. 416,000. 416,000, and not just 416,000, 416,822. 416,822.
If somebody wants to go in with me and do some kind of fractional ownership, I've got the 22.
Jeez.
It's available for 210.
Available for 210. And the 5236, which we just showed, the inline calendar, it's 170,000, 98,000 in secondary. 98,000 in secondary. That's a big hit. You know, $70,000 haircut. Brody is a member for 1 year, celebrating his 1 year anniversary as a member of the original OC channel. Will Patek, this is, we'll do the round robin. Guys in the chat too. Everyone in the chat, answer this question. Will Patek reduce prices if the tariffs are reduced or reversed? type in your prediction in the chat. Will Patek reduce prices if tariffs are reduced or reversed? ZD, go first.
I'm gonna say no.
Gambino?
I'm going to say if there's a deal that's reached, let's say within the next 30 to 45 days, they will reduce prices. It just won't go back to where they were last week.
I'm going to say no, they do not reduce prices. Yeah, they'll ask everybody to suck it up.
I think they'll keep them and then they'll continue to catch the world up over the next 2 years.
Yeah, they won't have to do price increases for the next 12 months. That's
I
for
think
sure. Right?
yeah, I think they'll just like keep us flat, you know. I mean, if you cut it from 39% to 15% or whatever the deal is, it's not going to be better than Europe. So,
Would it be different if we know that President Trump wears mainly Rolex, but he's been seen wearing a Patek Philippe Ellipse over the years. Other than that, he hasn't been a big Patek fan. Would it be different if he were a fan of Patek versus Rolex? You think that this message that they're sending would fall on more favorable ears? Like, hey, like we had to increase our prices to your U.S. customers by 15%. Is there any chance you can, come to a deal with our government on the tariffs? I don't want to get political. I don't know. I'm just ripping.
I don't think you should pose that question because I think he'd just expect to be handed it for free. Doesn't have to worry about price increases.
Free Pateks. Thank you to all the members in the chat. If you want to become a member, there's a link in the chat to become members. I want to thank. Hey, we got Fella in the chat. What's up, Fella? Good to see you. I think we had a good show. Thank you for making this show the #1 in the 5 and 6 o'clock time slots for the last 2.5 hours. We had more viewers here on this live stream than any other live stream, which shows the power of the global community, the power of the watch community. Really appreciate the support. Upvote the live stream. If you're watching this on the replay, hit the like button, but also hit the hype button. There's a new feature called hype. Make sure you hype the live stream. And we will catch you on the next one. I want to thank Gambino. I want to thank ZD and Diego M for jumping on the panel. Thank you all you guys in the chat. And let's see if I can find something fun to play us out here. Let's see if I have something fun. Oh yeah, we'll just go back to the video that I shared at the beginning, and wish you guys a fantastic night. We'll catch you. By the way, if you want to jump on after this video airs, if you want to jump on for a quick VIP after show, click on the link down here, and we'll add you to the backstage and the private VIP after show. Peace out, everybody, and have an amazing night. And remember, Patek is something that isn't just a watch. It's something you hand down to the next generation. Peace out and good night. Peace out, everybody. Good night.